be able to meet our interests. Where does power come from in negotiation? And I'm not talking about power over the other side. I'm talking about power to satisfy your interests, empowering power. Where does that come from? And one thing I've noticed is in negotiation, we tend to focus naturally on reaching an agreement. But actually, one of the most important questions to ask ourselves before any negotiation, when we're on the balcony for a moment, is to ask ourselves, how are we going to meet our interests if for some reason we are not able to reach agreement with that particular person at that particular time? That in negotiation is what we call your BATNA, which is an acronym standing for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. It's almost like in any negotiation, there's a fork in the road. You can either go towards an agreement or you go towards your BATNA, which is your best course of action if you cannot reach agreement. So for example, imagine you're looking for a job and you have one job interview and that's all you've got. And you know you're going to be talking about salary. And if you think that's your only alternative, think about how the negotiation goes around salary, for example. But imagine you take the intervening time to think through what's your BATNA. What are you going to do if you don't get that particular job? You look around, see if there are any other job offers. You think, well, maybe I'd be willing to maybe even move, or maybe go back to school, or think about how you're going to satisfy your interests if for some reason you don't get that job. If you have an alternative, then think about how the negotiation goes. You're going to negotiate with more confidence. Because the key in negotiation is you want to care about the issue, but not too much, as a friend of mine likes to say. Not too much. That way you're not hostage of the other side, and that way you're going to negotiate with more confidence and a more sense of freedom, and you're more likely to reach a good agreement. So knowing your BATNA beforehand is just a useful thing. We don't often go there because we think that's kind of negative thinking, but it's alternative positive thinking. Realizing that you have options, you have alternatives, turns out to be key.